Greetings, children of the night, and welcome to my 2025 Halloween haul video. So, I guess we're just... Is my head in frame? I think my head's in frame. So, we're gonna start off with Dollar Tree. And so this requires a slight bit of backstory. So, I'm working on a Summerween dark tropical creepy, like inspired by like the tiki bar type stuff, like creepy tropical islands, dark cursed like rainforest and beach, all like the tropical stuff from around different parts of the world. Really, I usually like things to be very much like it's themed this time period in this exact location, but for this I'm doing like stuff from basically every tropical type climate around the world, because they're just different things that I like from different areas that I want to incorporate in that to have like the ultimate like tropical fantasy type vibe. So it's not like specifically like one specific part of the world, which I started out thinking I would do, but it's turned into just anything from any tropical environment that I like, I put in and kind of think of it as like a, well, you'll see, but it's supposed to be just sort of a fanciful thing of like a fantasy tropical island, but also like maybe a little bit of an element of like the person who lives here has like gone to different places around the world and acquired various items. So I just, for that, I keep it like a really open thing so I can just incorporate whatever interesting things that I think either are already spooky or that I could put a spooky twist on. So like I said, I usually like to keep it super like time and place specific, but for this it kept getting more like, well, I kind of want to incorporate this, well, I kind of like that, and then I decided just anything goes basically if it's from a tropical part of the world. So at Dollar Tree I saw, which I posted a short about, there were some different items that came in like late summer, like when places start getting Halloween stuff in. And there were these amazing, for Halloween, it says that they're Halloween on there, but these awesome tropical, what are they called? Anthurium plants. Oops, I dropped one. So I was so excited to see in the Halloween section, they had, or I mean in the floral section, but marketed for Halloween, they had these awesome tropical plants that will be perfect. And they've never done this before. They've done like roses in the past in different types. Hopefully you can kind of see that. This is like kind of a, I love it kind of how it looks a little foggy like that. It looks extra realistic of like if there was a creepy flower, like there's real leaves on various plants that sort of look like this. I was so excited to see that for Halloween they did these tropical flowers, which they've never done before. They've always done like roses and various other types of flowers, but they've never done actually tropical flowers. So that was perfect timing for this Halloween. They came out with these tropical flowers that I can use. And I think they had a purple one as well. I got the black, the red obviously, and this sort of marbled looking one, because I do black and red stuff generally, and for the tropical stuff I'll probably have some various other colors involved, but I still like to keep it black and red. I'm kind of thinking of having some vampire type elements in my thing, which you'll hopefully be seeing when it, at like after Christmas I'll start working on my tropical type stuff, so I can hopefully get those out when in the hotter months. So like I said, I was really excited to see that they had these tropical flowers in like the dark Halloween colors. The next thing that I got from Dollar Tree, which I also actually showed in my Summerween at Dollar Tree short that I put up, is they had these paper lanterns, which paper lanterns seem to kind of be out of vogue. I couldn't find them anywhere for like years, but it seems like they've come back a little bit. And I uncharacteristically got the spider web one, even though I'm very grossed out and not a fan of spiders. This one, they had one that was, of course, had my favorite animal of all time, bats, on it, but it was a purple background, so it was like outlines of, sort of like the Batman symbol, outlines of bats, but it was the purple background, which I have nothing that's purple, so I didn't end up getting that. They had a really cool one that was orange with a jack-o'-lantern face, which was super clever and I really liked, but I didn't end up getting that either. Anyway, these spiders are kind of cartoony looking, so I can cope with these. It's one, like, and they also, their proportions aren't the type of spider that really do it for me. Like, because the kind that I really can't stand is the ones, the longer and thinner the legs are. But, like, these are quite cartoony looking. They kind of look like those, like, Halloween plastic rings that are the spider rings. So I can deal with this. But the reason, maybe I'll explain before I put the light on, the reason that I have been looking for this is that I wanted to do a creepy Japanese yokai lantern, Chochin Obake craft, but I wanted a plain lantern for that, but then it got to the point when I couldn't find any lantern at all. I'm like, well, even just for, like, photos, if I do, like, a video of, like, some, like, decorating things and stuff, I just want some lantern that looks like it could be, like, a traditional Japanese lantern with that I can do something spooky with. So this, obviously, is a spooky lantern. It's in white, which is the, like, white rice paper and red are the traditional Japanese lantern colors. So I got the traditional Japanese lantern color on this, but then it has obviously the spiders, which is kind of like the Jorogumo and other spider yokai monsters in Japanese folklore, which I thought was great. So I'm going to just have this to use like in pictures, in little reels and stuff, where I'm doing like a spooky Japanese look, or like a costume thing, or a decorating type thing. Then I can have my lantern that is the creepy lantern that looks like it's not Halloween specific. It's just like, well, it's a white lantern, but then it has like the spiders and the webs all over it, which is very cool and adds that spooky twist. And then it lights up, which I love, in this blue color, which I usually, it's not supposed to be blue, I don't think. It's supposed to be like white that it glows up as. It's like one of those really blinding whitish type lights, but it comes off as blue, which I usually prefer when things glow up as more of a candle color. But I love how this is blue because in Japanese traditional art, the colors of ghosts are white and blue. So this is a perfect ghostly blue glow for my specific purposes of the Japanese, like, creepy yokai theme that I want to use this for. And it also, as I showed in my video of Summerween, it also could be used as a Summerween, like, party type thing of, like, having the summer party, and it's like the lantern and the tropical flowers, so it's very versatile. But I was really happy with this find. The next thing I got from Dollar Tree is, I already got one of these. I have, I put a few little things in there that were the ears from when I was making the Mochi Bunny paper mache crafts. But I already got one of these a different year, and I love it, and it's really useful. It's just this plastic skeleton, like 3D on the lid, sort of a little bit holographic, clear skeleton coffin box. And you could even use this as a craft if you wanted like put a mini skeleton in there or something. Yeah, it's very versatile. And then I got this ribbon that is the black with the spider webs on it. Again, very versatile, very useful for different things. I think I'm going to do Michael's next. So at Michael's, I got this large, kind of like, I hope it's kind of life-size of a human skull. Plastic skull that's one of these where the jaw kind of moves like that. And I've had smaller ones of these. They're over there. But, so, like this one, which I also got at Michael's. I have smaller ones, but I wanted a bigger one because I figured out in various videos it's, like, I really wanted one that actually I could hold and it would look like it was the size of a human skull, so it could actually look like it was a real skull. And I'm glad that I picked this up when I did when I first saw it at Michael's, because they have sold out by now. But anyway, they also had some that were like foam that were a solid thing, but I really love these ones where they are like the hinged and then the plastic. I think that they're the most like realistic looking when it comes to these plastic skulls. Oops, almost fell down. And then on clearance for like $2, the original price was $5.99. I just recently, in the last few days, got this small skull, which I can use for craft projects if I want. I can make like a paper mache figure and then use this as the skull for the head if I want. Which is also why I've gotten these, which, as you can see, are smaller, and I got a bunch of them. The price on this was $5.99. So this, again, I got useful for craft projects. I also could just set these in my Gothic Christmas tree as well if I wanted. Also from Michael's, I have been looking for a rubber snake, which I can use for the tropical stuff and some other themes that I use periodically that I've been doing some things for, which you'll also be seeing. Yeah, so anyway, I got this snake. I don't want to give away too much about the themes that I'm doing, other than the tropical one, because I don't know exactly when I'm going to put out different things, and I kind of want there to be some element of surprise. But, yeah, so I got the black and red snake, and it's got the little tongue there. And if I wanted, I could add in, like, I think they have a yellow stripe, the ones that are poisonous. There's a tropical kind of snake that's a poisonous snake that looks very similar to this, which is why I got this one. And of course it's also red, which is the color that I'm going for my tropical stuff. But if I wanted to have a poisonous snake in with the tropical stuff, then I can use this. And it is rubber, but then it also has like some sort of sandy thing in there. You can hear that. So, yeah, it's not just a hard rubber snake. It's a little bit more, like, bendable. So it can, like, sort of, you can have it, like, in something if you want, and it can be coming out, kind of like that. Anyway, very useful. And now it's time to show the big ticket item that I got at Michael's, which I was pleasantly surprised was, I believe, $20 regular price. I got a bit of a discount on it. I used like a coupon or something. I can't quite remember. But it is this glorious, again, kind of the size of a human skull, like planter, hanging thing that you can put stuff in. I don't know what to call this exactly. But I thought that the sculpting on this was super cool. Really love it. It looks really well done. And I was pleasantly surprised it was $20 because it seems like Michael's tends to be pretty expensive when stuff is full price. It's like their decor items like this. So, I mean, I was kind of expecting like, oh boy, when I saw it, I'm like, is this going to be like $35 or something? So I was pleasantly surprised. I got the last one that was like the human skull type size one. They also for $15. Again, a pleasantly nice price for Michael's. They had ones that were smaller that were more like this type of size that you can fit in your hand. They had a bunch of those in stock, which I showed in a Michael's video of doing like the floral section at Michael's. But I wanted the one that was, because the whole reason that I like it is because it looks like a real skull that is being used as a planter and not something that's skull shaped. Because I have things that are skull shaped, but I want it to actually look like like it's a real skull that's being used. And then it has this sort of like twine type, sort of rope-like handle hanging device here. Let's see if I can get the full thing on camera. Oh, I can kind of turn it and you can see the whole full thing there. But I got this because it works into any theme whatsoever, and I saw it another year and I regretted at later not getting it. So I got it this year, and again, it will work perfectly for my tropical sort of tiki island type thing with like this rope-like handle and the skull planter. It can work into literally anything. But because it does have the rope, like I said, instead of like a chain, which would probably look a little bit more like a Gothic castle look, which is what I would usually go for, the rope adds the element of it can be like something that can work into any sort of like a like, what would you say exactly? Like something like a tropical type of thing, an island type of thing, like anything that's a spooky thing that is a little bit more of a like, I don't think rustic is the right word, but like a thing where it's more like you're out in like the witch's hut somewhere kind of thing, or like you're on a tropical island and this is something that somebody put together with the materials available, like more like that type of a vibe instead of like it's the vampire mansion type of thing. So I loved that about this, that it will work perfectly for like my tropical island creepy sort of like the like the rustics, or again, I don't think rustic's quite the right word, but sort of like elements of various like island and tropical culture, like different groups of people who like live in islands and stuff, and they would use a lot of the like grasses and various things available on the island to make things. Like with the rope, it looks like it could be something like that, or like a even like a nautical type of thing it could be. So like any type of more, oh, I guess organic, that's more the word I was looking for instead of rustic. Any more like organic looking thing that again is less of like the vampire manor type of look. This with the rope, it works perfectly for any organic type of thing, any folk horror type of thing. So I was happy that they had this again, and I was able to get it, and it was the price that it was. And I believe this is the last thing I got from Michael's. These adorable little, and the original price is $10, these adorable little bats. And they're these little plastic bats, and they're a little bit holographic. Look at their cute little, like, I don't think they technically, do they have technically a face? They don't technically have, like, eyes. I got two of these, with two on each of them. But look at their, like, cute little, they have cute little, like, noses. I love the sculpting on these. I love bats, and I love the little, like the micro bats with their big ears like this. So I loved these little bat sculptures. I can use this for any craft project. They also had an oil slick one, but I got the white because although I originally was planning on repainting these to either be black or like a real bat color where it's like the black wings and the brown body, I might actually leave some or all of these white and do like a wintry type of thing with them, at least in the beginning while they're white. I might end up coloring them later, like I said, but I can use the white ones for like a snowy winter, creepy gothic winter kind of thing and have my like snow bats. So I decided, even though I was planning originally on repainting them, I decided to get the white ones instead of like the oil slick ones because I could actually end up using the white ones for something. And they're these kind of like, can you tell that they're a little bit like, I don't think holographic. Is that the right word for this? Oh, like pearlescent, I think is what it's called. They're a bit that. So they're not just like flat white plastic. They have a nice sort of icy sheen to them. So I thought that these were adorable. Next, I'm just going to show the one item that I've gotten from Spirit Halloween, which is this white compact powder. And it has this sugar skull design on it. Because I figured out that if I put powder over my white face paint, then I can draw on top of it. So I can, like, when I'm doing sort of cosplay things, I can, like, if I want to draw, like, on one case I, like, sort of drew some, like, branchy vines over it. So I figured out that if I have the face paint and then I put powder over the top, I can, like, take an eyeliner pencil and, like, draw over the top without just ending up smearing the white face paint all over and getting gunk all over my eyeliner pencil. So I got this, which I hope will be more white, because I did, and it's got like the mirror in there. Does it? Oh wait, no, it just was reflecting. The light up there was reflecting, so when I'm looking on the camera, it looked like there was a mirror. There's not a mirror. It's got the little sponge that you can use. And then it's got this, actually, sugar skull design in the powder, which is cool. But I'm hoping that this will be a bit more of a white powder, actually, than... Because I got a powder at some other, like, Dollar Tree or somewhere, which looked white, but it turned out to be clear. And I'm hoping that this will add white to the white face paint so that it can end up looking less smeary and looking more like a cohesive white base when I'm doing something. So I was excited when I saw that this was labeled as a white powder. Now we move on to stuff from at home, and we've got something that I was seeing online that I was super excited for, because obviously, like, black and red, as I love vampire stuff, black and red are my go-to colors when I'm doing a Gothic thing, so it can easily be used as, like, a vampire, bat, like, it just all goes together so nicely with a really dark red. I love a dark red. So I saw this item for $15, and it is this Gothic frame, which we'd love to see. Hopefully you can see this. And it's got this dark red. I don't know if you can really tell the color well on camera. It's got a very dark red background on here, and then it's got this skeleton hand. And what I'm going to do with this, which I was excited to see, because it's this thing that I can use as a useful item, is that I have some necklaces that are like, it's just like a cord with a pendant. And I can use this. It's fairly sturdy. My necklaces aren't that heavy. I don't have too many of them. I can hang the necklaces off of here. I can put this up on the wall to use as a hanger for my necklaces and get those off of just like sitting around being a mess. Hopefully you can see there's the nice Gothic frame there, and the very cool, creepy, nicely sculpted skeletal hands there. So very happy with this, and as usual, At Home has very nice prices for what they have, and it seems like good quality for like the price and all that. So very happy with this. I haven't put it up yet. As you can see, I haven't even fully taken it out of the box. So I did want to show it when it was like fully in the box and all that. So you can get like I have the price on there and stuff that I can show. So I've taken this out of the box, and there was a slight issue. Whoa, I'm like barely in frame. Okay, there we go. Because the thing to hang it up only works if it's like this. Like, there's no way to hang it on this side. I don't know if that could be, someone could do that if they had the right tools. But I think it will still work, because I can still hang the cords, like, up like that. So it still works, and it actually, I don't know if it even would support it a little bit better actually, because now the weight is going on the full like hand that's more where the is actually attached to the back there, instead of like hanging off the end of the fingers. So anyway, if you were planning on using this to hang something up like I was, where you actually need it to, like if you had it like this, you might be able to put like a thin scarf or something on it, but like you probably wouldn't be able to do it if it's like that. So if you were planning on having it like this on the wall, be aware that there's no way to hang it like that. And then the other thing from At Home that I got, this actually was kind of a big ticket item for me. This was $20, $19.99, and this actually is not a Halloween item. It's this really nice Gothic black and silver one of these boxes that looks like it's a book. And I like it because it has like a little bit of a magnet in there, so when it's up like this it doesn't fall open. And it's kind of a fabric, it's kind of canvasy fabric. And then it has this really nice black and silver, or I mean, the design is silver design on there. Just so nice, classically Gothic, love black and silver. Silver is my color that I use in metal. So that was, I thought that this was super cool. It was I showed it in a at-home Halloween stuff video as like a non-Halloween section item that was perfect for Halloween stuff. They also had like a Dracula one, but it was just plain red and then like said Dracula in gold. It didn't have like a bat or anything on it. And it's like, well, these are kind of pricey, so I'm just gonna get one, and I got the really like simple one that just is really simple and can work for anything. And I think there's something like, I just really love this design on the spine here, which is probably what you'll end up seeing if I have it up somewhere or like sitting somewhere. And so I love the design on the spine like that. So that's, yeah, I ended up getting this one. And it's got kind of this little bit spongy, like fabric-y, fuzzy kind of fabric that's kind of like one of those jewelry holders of like one of those little boxes someone puts their rings in. It's kind of like that material there. And then it is just plain white, sort of a fake leather material on the sides here, which if that really bothered me, I probably could put a little bit of acrylic paint to try to make some book lines on it, but it doesn't really bother me, and you're probably not ever really going to see that. It's going to be more like the spine or the front that you see. So, yeah, there is my stuff from At Home. Now we move on to the stuff from Five Below. I just thought I'd mention also, I did get, like, the little ghost lantern and, like, a little squeezy skull that a bat pops out of. I've combined bat and pop and got bought. Wonderful. I invented a new creature. That little squeezy skull that the rubber bat pops out of at Daiso. But I did a video of the stuff that I got from Daiso. That was some Halloween stuff, some like Japanese snacks. So I decided not to repeat the few things from Daiso in this video. So if you want to see that, I have a video that's a Daiso haul. But anyway, this is going to be Five Below that we're going to be seeing. And I got 2 of these arm bones. They're a really nice size. I love stuff that this works perfectly for anything. I've been noticing I've gotten a lot of bone stuff this year for like various craft projects and sort of stuff that I can use like in pictures and videos. So yeah, I got 2 of these. I already have 2 leg bones. I think these were like, does it say on here what the price was? I think it was like $2 per bone. And these like work perfectly, like I said, for quite literally anything. And I already got the 2 leg bones, which look like a very classic, I mean it looks similar to this but bigger. Just very classic, like when you imagine like a dog with a bone or something, like very classic, that sort of a look. Kind of looks like it has like the socket on it on one end and like the other, like this type of an end on the other end. And I use those a lot for various different things. So this year I was excited to see that they had the bones back, and I got 2 of these arm bones. So this can work perfectly if I want to do something where it's like there's a pot with the bones sticking out of it, or just I want bones anywhere for any reason. I can use it as a prop. Like I said, it works perfectly for anything. And these being smaller, then these will be able to work in ways that the other ones won't, as well as, excuse me, like if I want to just, like I said, like a pot with the bones sticking out, it'll be different kinds of bones. So, yeah, I got these. And then the next thing I'm going to show from Five Below are these pajama pants that I got. I got 2 different designs, and they're very fuzzy. This one is, the design is that it has a bunch of like spooky words on it. So like wicked, blood, R.I.P., strange, beware, help, evil. Trying to see like what all the different words are there. But yeah, you get the point. And it's like scrolled on there in like spooky writing. I thought it was the nice black pants. I could find these in my size, and they've got the spooky red writing on there. And then I also got, later I was able to find these in my size. Oh shoot, I just knocked something over with these pants. The leg dangled and it knocked over my glass of, or not glass, but thankfully it was not glass, my plastic cup of pens. But I also got these, when I could find them in my size, these skeletons that I thought were just sort of doing funny poses at first. But then I noticed like this one, let's see, can I get it right side up? Is there a right side up one somewhere? I could just turn this. I noticed later that, like, oh, where did it go? There's one here that is skateboarding, which is funny. But they're just skeletons kind of dancing around, doing different sort of poses. I don't think they're specifically, like, they're not like how it seems like the yoga pose skeletons are a big thing. I don't think they're in any yoga poses, but just skeletons kind of dancing around, doing different sort of aerobics type poses. I always love a good black background with something skeletons on it, so I picked these up, and they are, they have a adjustable top, and they're very fuzzy, which hopefully you can kind of see. And then I believe the last thing that I have to show here is kind of looking around to see. Did I get... Oh, wait, no, I didn't get all the stuff up here. I'm like, I feel like there were a few more things. From Five Below as well, I got, for $5, or it might have been like $5.55 or something, I got Aurelio Voltaire's Gothic Gothic Life, The Essential Guide to Macabre Style, which is his... He has the YouTube channel Layer Voltaire, which is probably my favorite YouTube channel. It inspired me to start making my own videos of, like, spooky DIY and stuff. And he came out with this great book that has different, like, DIY stuff, and, like, designing and dressing your Gothic layer. And it shows, like, these pictures of his house, which were taken. There's a whole story about making this book of like how he had a professional magazine photographer, I think it was, from Mexico that was able to come to his house in New York City and take the pictures of his Gothic apartment. So they're like these really cool, like really professional looking photos, and they're like some different DIY type things in here. So he came out with this book, I think it was last Halloween, that was hardcover, but then he recently came out with an exclusive Five Below copy of this that you can get for less money. That's the soft cover, and it's black and red. The original book, I think, was black and purple designs on the front. But anyway, so I picked this up. I was really excited to see this, and it's like thinner, which I don't have a lot of room, and it was able to be less money, which is super cool. So anyway, yeah, I was really excited to see this, and now I have like these different, talks about all sorts of different things. There's like a Summerween section. Hopefully you can see this pretty well without too much glare in the shadow of the light that I have there, or I mean not the shadow of the light, little oxymoron there, that shadow of the camera that's in front of the camera is closer to the light than I am, so if hopefully you're able to see this without like getting too much shadow from the camera there. But yeah, so I picked this up and have been looking through it and having a lot of fun getting different inspiration for different projects. And also from Five Below, they had the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is something I've been wanting to read and see, because I've heard so much about it in like Egyptian mythology and history and all that. I've been wanting to see actually what was this Book of the Dead that, oh, it's got the gold there. Again, like $5.55 or $5 for this, I can't remember. And I've been wanting to actually be able to see what was this book that they would bury with at least the people who were wealthy, so that they were able to read it in the afterlife and figure out how to get through the different like the different trials of making it to a happy place in the afterlife, going through like the different judges in the afterlife and all that. So I'm going to be able to read this, and it wasn't a price that was breaking the bank, which like you can get the Egyptian Book of the Dead from various different places, but it's like pretty expensive to get. So this, and it's got like some different pictures of like, oh, this is this god that you would meet at this point in the afterlife, and there's like the different black and white prints of like the Egyptian artwork from the tombs and all that. So this is super cool, very happy with that. And then I think, now I actually think that we have the last item here, which, again, another thing I was very excited to see. This was my most recent thing that I grabbed at Five Below. Very excited to see it. Was not expecting to see it. Was my first magnet that I've gotten from Five Below. And it's by an artist that I really like, whose name I can't remember. But he does these, I think it's a guy. The artist does these different, I think the series is called like Twisted Nostalgia or something. And there are these different things that are like kind of those kids' books. They're like the learning books from like the 50s or 60s, where it would be like, let's go to the zoo. Let's tie our shoes. Yeah, like how to have good manners or whatever. And it would be like these vintage illustrations of like guiding a young kid through like whatever the thing was. But he does them and they're spooky. So this is how to feed your carnivorous plant, and it looks like it's the older sister there feeding her younger siblings to this big monster plant. Hopefully you can see this without too much glare and shadow once again. Let's see, hopefully you can see that. It looks like the book cover, like it kind of has like the little emblem of like, that's probably like the printer up there, their little icon. And this is probably my favorite picture that the artist has done. So that was so awesome seeing this there, because I had seen a calendar of the different illustrations, including this one, and I debated getting it, but I ended up getting a different one that was hamsters. So yeah, I was so excited to see this then that I was able to get probably my favorite illustration that I'm aware of that the artist has done as a magnet that I can just have up all the time and see. I There was another one I liked. There was something like, eh, it was like my first voodoo doll or something. Like I like voodoo dolls, so that there was at least one like voodoo themed one. There's like one that's like don't accept rides from strangers, and it's like kids on the back of a witch's broom flying through the sky, like all sorts of different things like that. They had a few other magnets from this artist, but they weren't illustrations I particularly really liked. They were a little bit more sci-fi themed. Like there was one that's like let's do mind control or like something like that, and it was like kind of like the alien kids with like their lighting up eyes, like a UFO in the background or something. But anyway, yeah, so I was able to pick this up, and I do like monster plant stuff a lot, and also it works well for like any spooky theme. Obviously, like a spooky vintage theme, it would work. It also works well for my spooky tropical stuff because I'm doing stuff with like referencing monster plants for that, like having my carnivorous plant fake plants that I'm going to incorporate into that. So, yeah, there's that. So, I believe that that's everything. So, thank you for watching. Hope you found this interesting or fun to watch. And we're getting pretty close to Halloween. So, have happy getting ready for Halloween, almost Halloween, and until next time, stay spooky.